Welcome back to Windsor Chronicles, the podcast where history, monarchy, and truth intertwine. I'm your host, and today we dive into a powerful and polarizing question shaking the British establishment. Do the Sussexes, Prince Harry and Meghan, deserve an apology from Britain, or does Britain owe itself one? In the wake of fresh headlines surrounding Prince Andrew, the royal family finds itself standing in a moral storm, one that tests its principles of duty, accountability, and truth. It's almost poetic. Two princes, two radically different destinies. Prince Harry, the veteran, the reformer, the husband who chose love over tradition. And Prince Andrew, the once respected duke, now buried under allegations of scandal, deceit, and disgrace. While Harry and Meghan were vilified for leaving the royal fold, Prince Andrew remained ensconced within its walls, shielded, defended, and in some cases, embraced. Christmas, Easter, even the coronation, the same royal gatherings that excluded the Sussexes, somehow had room for Andrew and Sarah Ferguson. It was a silent message, one meant for an audience of one, Harry, a message that said, "This could have been your life had you stayed loyal." But loyalty to what? A system unwilling to defend you against racism, an institution that protects the powerful but punishes the outspoken. Let's look beyond the headlines, because if the term royal scandal still means anything, it must be measured not by press coverage, but by consequence. Voiceover excerpt, reporter tone. Andrew is accused of maintaining friendships with convicted sex offenders and allegedly orchestrating smear campaigns against victims. These are not whispers of bad judgment. These are accusations of criminal proximity, of power-shielding wrongdoing. And yet the public outrage that once blazed against the Sussexes barely flickers for Andrew. When Meghan spoke of racism, of the isolation and cruelty she faced within the palace walls, she was branded a liar. When Prince Andrew spoke to the BBC about his friendship with Epstein, he was branded unconvincing, not monstrous, not unforgivable, just unconvincing. The disparity in response is not just striking, it's revealing. For years, British tabloids built a profitable empire on vilifying the Sussexes, headlines painting Meghan as manipulative, calculating, even dangerous. Her crime, falling in love, speaking up, and stepping away. Meanwhile, Andrew's alleged involvement in one of the most disturbing sex trafficking scandals of our time was treated like an unfortunate inconvenience, something to be quietly managed, not confronted. This double standard doesn't just tarnish individuals, it corrodes trust. And it raises the question, has Britain's obsession with the Sussexes blinded it to its deeper institutional failings? Rebecca Reed, writing for the newspaper, captured the irony perfectly. She wrote, "This is what a real royal scandal looks like. We owe Harry and Meghan an apology. An apology not just for the headlines, but for the years of character assassination, for the refusal to recognise that Harry and Meghan's departure wasn't betrayal, it was survival." Reed points out something profound. Harry and Meghan's so-called scandals, paying for their own renovations, producing podcasts, discussing race and mental health, now seem trivial beside the gravity of Andrew's alleged crimes. And yet, the British public, and much of the establishment, continue to treat them as equally shameful. How did we get here? Every royal generation has its scapegoat. In the 1930s, it was Edward VIII, the king who gave up his crown for love. In the 1990s, it was Diana, the princess who spoke her truth and paid the ultimate price. And in the 2020s, it's Harry and Meghan, the modern royals who dared to reimagine what service could mean. But history has a strange way of vindicating those who were once vilified. Diana is now celebrated as a humanitarian icon. Edward's abdication paved the way for a constitutional modernization. And Harry and Meghan? Perhaps one day they will be remembered as the couple who exposed the limits of monarchy in a multicultural world. Let's not forget, behind every scandal lies silence. the silence of courtiers who look the other way, the silence of institutions that value image over integrity, and the silence of a nation that would rather blame outsiders than question its idols. When Prince Harry said, "We did what we had to do for our peace," it wasn't rebellion, it was revelation. He saw a system unwilling to change. He saw that discretion without justice becomes complicity, loyalty without truth becomes servitude, and restraint without compassion becomes cruelty. The royal family stands at a crossroads once again. King Charles faces the monumental task of restoring faith, not just in the monarchy, but in its moral authority. The treatment of Prince Andrew versus Prince Harry isn't just a PR issue. It's a reflection of what and who the institution values. Does it stand for accountability? Or does it cling to outdated hierarchies where silence and privilege still rule the day? If the monarchy hopes to survive the next generation, it must confront these questions, not with scripted statements or selective compassion, but with genuine reckoning. So, does Britain owe the Sussexes an apology? Perhaps. But more importantly, Britain owes itself one, for believing every cruel headline, for mistaking colour for character, and for confusing conformity with integrity. In the end, Harry and Meghan didn't leave the royal family. They left a royal illusion. And history, as it always does, will decide who truly upheld the values of duty, courage, and heart. You've been listening to Windsor Chronicles. If you found this episode thought-provoking, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And join us next time as we continue to explore the truth behind the crown. Until then, I'm your host, reminding you, in the House of Windsor, image is everything until truth knocks on the door.